Morning children, how are you all? I hope all of you are fine and doing well along with your family members. Now today we are going to start with second chapter under geography, that is land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. I repeat, the name of the chapter is land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. So now let us begin with this chapter. So in the first part we have land. So what is land? Land is a very important natural resource. What is land? Land is a very important natural resource. Only 30% of the area is covered by land in the total Earth's surface. What am I saying? I will repeat it again. Land covers only 30% of the total area of Earth's surface. So, land is a very important natural resource. It includes, that is, it covers only 30% of the total area of the Earth's surface. Now, there is an uneven distribution of population. What am I saying? There is uneven distribution of population. Why? That is because of the varied characteristics of land and the climate there. Now, say for example, whatever type of land we are having in Gujarat will be completely different from the type of land we have it in, say, Ladakh or say Kerala, or in different regions like this. So what am I saying? There is an uneven distribution of population on the basis of the land and the climate there. Did you all understand? What am I saying? There is an uneven distribution of population, which means there are different people, meaning different number of people staying in a particular state because of its varied characteristics of land. Now, plains and river valleys, they offer suitable land for agriculture, for farming. So, these areas will be densely populated. Whereas on the other side, we have places where the land is not suitable for agriculture, farming, then there will be less population over there. So, depending upon the type of land and the type of climate we have in that particular place, the distribution can be decided. But on the overall basis, we can say that there is an uneven distribution of population because there are different types of land and different type of climate. So because of different types of land and the different climate in the places, there is an uneven distribution of population. So this was about land, where we have studied that land is an important natural resource. It covers only 30% of the total area of the Earth's surface, and because of different characteristics of land and the different climate in a particular place, there is an unequal distribution of population. So that was about land. Now in the second part we have land use. Now what do you understand by the term land use? From the word also we can see that is, we can clearly understand that we are talking about the use of land. Now how do we use land? We use land for different purposes. From the picture also you can see that we can use land for building roads, for building malls, for building up different tall towers, say buildings, apartments. So all of it are what? We are using land. Now apart from that, we can use land for setting up of industries, factories, and also apart from that we can use land for agriculture, for farming, for forestry, for mining. So all these are what? All of these are different uses of land that a human being does in order to satisfy his needs. So this was about land use, where we are using land for different purposes such as agriculture, farming, then for building roads, malls, shopping complexes, and all of it. We are using land for different purposes. Now there are physical factors which influence the use of land. So these physical factors are topography, First one being topography, soil, water, minerals and climate and availability of water. I repeat, there are physical factors which influence the use of land. Now these factors are topography, soil, minerals, climate and availability of water. So all these factors decide and influence the use of land. Depending upon these factors, we can think of using land for different purposes. So this was about land use, where we have studied that use of land can also differ from physical factors and uses of land are also different, like for agriculture, for building, for setting up of industries and all of it. Now in the next part we will study land use on the two different sides. Now under land use we have two parts, that is private land and community land. Now the land which is owned by an individual, and when an individual is using that particular land for his own personal purpose, that will be called as private land. Say for example an individual, from the picture also you can see that an individual is planning out his portion, his area of land where say he wants to build a bungalow or a villa or anything like that. So what is it? It is private land where it is owned by individuals and used for personal purpose. Now on the other hand we have, that is community land. Now what is community land? All those individuals, meaning all the land which is owned by the community for the common use is what we called community land, meaning the land which is owned, by the community for the common use and not for the personal use, but which is being used for the common use is called community land. Another word is common property resources. It is also known as common property resources. Say for example collection of food, fodder, fruits, medicinal herbs, all of it are what you can see in the picture also. They become the example of community land, where the land is owned by the community, and not by the people, not by the individuals. Where land is owned by the community for common use is known as community land. So this was about land use, where we have studied private land versus community land. Now we will move to the last part, which happens to be conservation of land resources. Now is it even important to have conservation of land resources? The question starts over there. So yes, it is very much important to conserve all the land resources. Why? Because today if we conserve our natural resources, they will protect us tomorrow. So it becomes very much important for us to conserve all the land resources. Now the demand for the land is continuously growing, it is continuously increasing, but on the other hand the availability of the land is very limited. So the demand is increasing but the availability is very limited. So it becomes very much important for us to conserve all the land resources. Now again, because of the expansion of agricultural and constructional activities, there is so much of land degradation, landslides, soil erosion happening. So what should we do? We should always think of the land conservation measures so that we can protect our land resources. Now common methods are, say for example, afforestation. From the picture also you can see that we should always promote afforestation. Then there should be limited use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, that is very limited use of, not overusing it. Using it in a limited quantity will also help. So these are the common methods which we can adopt and have land conservation. So that was all for today. Now we will quickly have a recap of all what we have studied. So we have studied starting from land, what what is the land use, what are the different types of things being used by the land, meaning what are the activities we are doing it on land. Then we have private land and community land, and at last we studied conservation of land resources. So in all, we have today completed the topic of land. So that was it for today. Thank you and have a nice day.